So I'm making this video mostly, I'm not gonna say like a vlog style, but kind of just a update style. That's why it's not really gonna be associated with anything specific, because it kind of touches on a bunch of stuff. And as far as organization, I'm not really gonna be doing any type of playlist for this. But what I'm doing now is touching up the rest of the wiring on the car. So with the fuse box being relocated here, I need to get power to that and ground to that from the battery. So when I bought this car, there was a fuse box relocation done by the previous owner, 2 owners away. That's it. That doesn't look all that good. So I'm definitely going to be having to clean up this. Arguably the trunk of this car is the worst part on this car. Everything else is decent, solid, rust repaired. But when I got this car, the previous owner said this was the one spot that he had yet to get to. And I can see why. It needs to be cleaned out and it needs a lot of work. But with that being said, the first thing I just was tackling was this, I'm guessing was the positive wire to the battery. So at first, this wire kind of didn't go to nothing. It didn't go up to the front. And instead it came back through the trunk. What I did was figure out where it was going, which turned out to be under the seat. It was coming under here, so I pulled it from under there. It was coming under here and going back into the trunk for whatever reason. So I pulled it through here, under this panel, and now we got it actually coming through here. So this is the rest of the wire. It's still 0 gauge wire. It's just long as hell. And I'm basically going to route it through there, probably across and back since I have the length for it, and into the fuse box. And then like whatever else needs to be powered by it, like the starter, I'll just section that off. Probably like, what I'm thinking about doing is sectioning it off like right here under all this and putting like a wooden board over the whole thing so that, you know, nothing gets stepped on if I have a passenger in there. So that's that. Secondly, I was trying to figure out what this was, so I went back there and looked. And I saw that it went to the fuel pump, so I'm like, okay, it's important. That gets routed through down here, and that comes to this plug that was completely not plugged into anything. So I gotta go through my diagrams and see where this plugs into. But outside of that, I followed it backwards and come to find out it's the rear trunk harness. So what I didn't have previously was this harness was, with the exception of going into the fuel tank, completely unplugged and just laying down here. So I've been figuring out what each plug goes to and how it's routed. Of course, all of the tabs and stuff like that are trashed, and the harness looks terrible. So this will be the second harness that I have to work on. But I kind of got a rough idea of what everything is. So it comes from in there, splits off here, goes to this, which is 3 plugs. I don't know what these 3 plugs are. If you know what they are, let me know in the comments. But I haven't figured it out yet. Let's see what else. Splits off from right here and goes directly into the fuel tank. So that is definitely important. Not entirely sure how this was ran originally, but it's hanging now. And it splits off here. This comes over here. Turn signal, brake lamp. I'm guessing brake lamps. Comes across down here. This part goes to the license plate lights, which is clearly missing. It was the only thing that was labeled, so it kind of gave me a clue as to what was going on. I'm guessing that's the ground for it all. So that's interesting. Continues on. Another brake. Another turn signal. Then comes back through here. 2 plugs go into this thing. I'm gonna just take a break from this video right now to explain those two plugs. From what I found out, those two plugs go back to the rear and the front speaker setup. When I looked back there to see what was going on with the rear and front speaker setup, I came to find out that the previous owner completely disconnected it. This man ripped out all the sound systems in the car and then left the modules back there. Like every single wire was cut and stripped away. I don't even know why he left the plug. Were you just not listening to music? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I can't really enjoy a nice ride without a little bit of music. So that kind of, I don't know. That one got to me a little bit. Continue. Comes back and sections off. This part goes up. Plugs into reverse lights. I'm guessing the third brake light. And another reverse light. That's what I'm guessing. So this is the whole harness. Well, the whole trunk harness from what I have figured out on my own. Definitely going to be re-engineering this as a whole because it just is, this trunk it just needs to be worked. So what I'm thinking is re-engineer / reroute this harness, clean up the battery relocation, of course clean all this up, and when everything's said and done, primer, paint the trunk, and then do the wood floor type thing, the wooden, trunk. That's what I think I'm gonna end up doing with this, because it's just I don't know. So I'm not sure if this is for everything, but by the way, to take the seats out, it's just 2 bolts, one here, one there, and this thing just popped right out. So you got to put the seatbelt buckles under there though. So that's where I'm at with this thing now. If you're just tuning into the channel, just go ahead and check out the rest of the videos on the fuse box relocation and the front end swap that I'm still doing. Just waiting on my other fender to get welded, but for now that is the next project. I'll say probably like trunk harness restoration or something like that.